Hello there. I have a doozy of a film to tell you about today. It's called Mountainhead. Mountainhead is a dramatic comedy about four billionaires getting together for a getaway weekend. Jesse Armstrong wrote and directed the film, which stars Steve Carell, Jason Schwartzman, Corey Michael Smith, and Rami Youssef. Okay, so this film tackles the super interesting topic of the mega rich and how they're using AI to destroy the world. It does that through watching tech billionaires discuss the future at length. They talk about the moral implications of their technology, discuss ways in which they can further their goals, and try to avoid addressing their failures. The cast play a group of obnoxious billionaires and their support staff. The support staff are basically there to read off exposition and look scared. The four billionaires are different aspects of rich people personified. You have Steve Carell playing the selfish old man, Randall, who just wants to extend his own life. He's terrified of dying and is willing to do just about anything to ensure his own future. He also likes to spout off historic quotes and tries to outdo all of his compatriots constantly. Jason Schwartzman plays the group's punching bag Super. He's the weakest of the bunch and the poorest, which means that he spends all of his time doing what everyone else asks. He kisses ass like the best of them and never leaves a rosebud uncleaned. Corey Michael Smith and Rami Youssef play two warring tech moguls, Venice and Jeff. They used to work together and were quite close, but now they find themselves at odds because Venice released an AI that is causing mass havoc. Youssef plays the only moral character of the bunch. He tries to convince the others that their plot is insane and that they should do something to stop the chaos. Smith plays the opposite character, constantly trying to deny what's happening and trying to see the benefit of the chaos. As a film, Mountainhead is really bland. Its visual journey takes place in a single concrete slab mansion. The characters are all dressed like normal middle-class people, and there's no action aside from a single hike they take up the side of the mountain. There's little to no music either. They do have songs, but they only appear for short bursts of 10 to 20 seconds at most, and they're simple instrumental or tension tracks. Which brings me to my review. There really isn't much to like about this film. You're either super into the stupid conversation that's going on, or there's nothing here for you to enjoy. For positives, there's really only two things. The story technically makes sense, and the cast is trying their best. Starting with the story, it's about four guys discussing their business and the implications of their actions. Everything is explained well, and there's no confusing parts. They do technically get their points across as well. They wanted to show how ridiculous it is that billionaires talk about taking over the world while they can barely run their own lives. And they managed to do just that. It would have been better as a 5-minute sketch, but hey, the writer managed to stretch it out to feature length, so kudos, I guess. The cast is also doing a fairly competent job of their roles. Each of the billionaires feels like a distinct asshole, and you definitely get hints of cognitive dissonance from them. It makes them seem genuine in their performance, which helps the story a little. On the negative side of things, the film is filled with poor decisions and mistakes that make it a horrible experience to sit through. The story has nothing exciting going on. The cast aren't allowed to stand out. The visual journey is sloppily done and has no outstanding visuals. And the soundtrack barely exists. Starting with the story. It's supposed to be a comedy, but there's no jokes, and only one or two visual gags. I guess the humor is supposed to come from laughing at these billionaires and the stupid things they say. But they talk so much and so rapidly that it's almost impossible to keep up with all of their nonsense. Outside of the humor, there really isn't much to get excited about. The story isn't going anywhere. The characters are all awful people who make you want to root against them. And there's no mystery here. It's just watching people talk while knowing that nothing they say matters. It doesn't give you any insight into the world of billionaires. You don't learn anything about AI, and they don't even get that in-depth with the moral discussion. Cast-wise, they aren't given any opportunities to stand out. All the big emotional moments are played for laughs, and the characters are simple stereotypes without any depth to them. The cast does what they can with the material, but they just can't make it work well enough to be memorable. Rami Youssef comes the closest with the scene of him being tortured, but even during that scene and afterward, his trauma is played more for laughs than anything else. He's not allowed to really express his pain and grief, and they don't even give him an opportunity to really address it with the other characters. Visually, the film is boring, bland, and poorly shot. It's got a lot of neutral coloring that feels very monotone. The camera is always shaking, despite them being inside and not moving around at all. And they never once try anything special. It's just shots of these 4 guys walking around this mansion and talking about their insane ideas. The nicest shots in the whole film are the transitions when they give you an outdoor shot of the house. They're nice little peeks at nature that help remind you that the film will be over soon. Sound-wise, there's nothing happening. They do have tracks, but they don't add anything to the film. They aren't building tension. They're not adding flavor. They're just white noise to help make a silent moment seem less empty. This film already had a boring premise. It needed some lifeblood from the visuals and soundtrack, and they just didn't find any. Personally, I think this film is quite badly done, and I can't believe someone paid good money for such a waste of air. It doesn't say anything meaningful, it's not an entertaining event, and most of the product is half-assed anyway. The only redeeming qualities are the cast. They try their best to make something from nothing but can't quite pull it off. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 2 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye bye!